I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was in the Boston Herald. Jim Murray from the Felger and Maz show, as you know, a lot of intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Who's taking the rich chair?
Right.
What will be the news show when it's announced in the new year? Who is it going to be? Will they be production? Will it be a sports guy? Will it be a man? Will it be a woman?
Will it be a news anchor like Dan Roach?
Will it be Danny Roach?
Toucher and Roach just flows.
It was shocking.
Doesn't it, Bert?
It was shocking last night that Dan did not break down during his last broadcast on WBC television as he moves to the world of radio, which is growing and expanding as we speak.
Getting a pay raise.
Oh, he would be getting a pay raise, but nonetheless, you don't think the job here pays more than what Dan makes at WBC television?
He's a very
making
famous, very famous guy.
You get paid?
You know, there's a station in Atlanta that offered a friend of mine, if you can guess, to do mornings in Atlanta, tape mornings in Atlanta. He would tape it. Guess how much they offered him to pay. And I'll tell you this. If you guess it right, I swear to God, I have a checkbook in my bag. I will write you a check for triple the amount they offered him. If you guess it right, you all get one guess.
Triple.
Go.
So, like, that's...
So this is per week or per day?
This is per year.
Okay.
Per year?
Wow, so it's got to be like 40.
I was going to say $500.
What was your guess, Bert?
40.
40,000.
40,000.
So you thought I would write you a check for $120,000. All right, very good. Thank you. That's very
Bert,
nice.
Really?
For a year?
For a year. All right,
I'm trying to go as low
Danny,
as I
go
can
ahead.
go without being like completely
For a year?
asinine.
If you're writing,
It's
a check.
Atlanta, Georgia, bigger media market than here. It was to do mornings. Now, it was taped. It was a taped morning show. Go ahead. And I'll let you know this. The station is third people 25 to 54 right now.
So I'll say $5,200.
Okay, $5,200 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Which would be $5,200
That's like
for the
what
year.
my buddy made when he was like starting to coach.
I made
football at,
$11,000 my
Northeastern.
first year.
Okay.
Out of school.
$25,000.
I made like 25.
All right. You know why I was comfortable telling you that I would triple it? Because they offered him no money. $0. They said, "Would you mind coming on?"
This is a volunteer job.
They play.
funny.
The station is a reboot of the station Rich and I were on, 99X.
Yeah.
And it's a reboot of the show that Rich was the stunt guy on. And what they do is they play like bits from like before I moved here, like bits from before I was on there. So bits from the 90s, like the bits not redone, but like the actual bits and interviews from the 90s. And they tape it. And so Jimmy was the big star of the show, and he's a good friend of mine. And they were like, Jimmy Barron, like, they're like, would you want to come on, like, you know, a couple times a week? And he's like, he's a big real estate guy now. He's like, I don't know. And they're like, yeah. And he goes, well, what are you thinking about paying? And they're like, oh, we wouldn't pay you. Like, you would just do it because it's fun.
It's great exposure and it's fun.
And he's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, how much am I getting paid for you using my voice at all these things?
I know, right?
And they're like, nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, anyway, to get back to the rich chair.
Yes.
So Jim Murray is third mic on Felger and Maz. Everyone loves Jim Murray. It's a very popular show. It's some people say that it's the heartbeat of the station. People love it. They can't get enough. But I never talk to Jim Murray or Felger. I talk to Maz occasionally. But that's not because I don't like him. It's because I don't see him. In fact,
you guys are never here.
In fact, Felger and I, he made an effort to like hang out with me when the station first started.
I remember that.
And I think that something about me, it didn't rub right with him.
I remember you being upset about that too.
Was I upset or was I just pointing it out?
I don't know. Coin flip.
I don't know
not
either.
Sure.
Sometimes it's hard to tell with Fred, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I don't remember either. Sometimes it's hard to tell with me, Bert. You can tell me either way, and I'd believe you.
The answer is Maz
Well,
is
it's
here.
hard to tell if you're just being matter of fact or you're pissed about something, you know? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't, like,
No,
have that.
I can't tell either. But
That's a good thing, though, because it's like people don't know where you're coming from.
That's right. That's what you want,
Yeah,
especially
that's
with
exactly
children.
what you want.
The
You
reason
want the children always on their toes.
Yeah.
The reason you talk to Maz is here so early. He wants to get away from his family.
Plus, he's asked me if I had Coke anywhere in the building, and
That's
and it was from an unknown number. Did you know that, Dan? So I get a text. I'm out to dinner with my daughter. I remember where I was because this guy who owns the restaurant, it's O'Hara's in Newton. He went to college or went to high school with Maz, and he's like, you know, like where is it? They went to high school down in Waltham.
Waltham, yeah.
So he's like, yeah, you know, I went to high school with Maz. He recognized me. He's like, you know, I went to high school with Maz. He's so smart. He was like, you know, valedictorian, like da-da-da. So all of a sudden, he says that, right? I sit down. I get a text from an unknown number, and it's like, hey, at the station, I was wondering, like, did you stash any Coke anywhere around here? And I'm like, wait a second.
This would have been like Brighton.
This was here. This was
here.
like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, this is that recent. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I've never done cocaine in my life. And
I think you were talking about like the early days of the station.
no.
Okay,
This
was like 3
this
weeks
is
ago.
3 weeks
Wow.
ago, but it's from an unknown number.
It was like the White House.
And so, and I'm like, what the hell? And I thought it was the wrong number. And then I'm like, I bet you it's Maz. And I'm like, this is weird because the guy just
Yes.
mentioned Maz.
Yeah.
Because Maz is the only guy here that's the DC guy too.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted him, I'm like, Maz, like, what the hell? Because this is you. And he's like, yeah, you have any Coca-Cola? You can't say, do you have any Coke stashed in the building? Weird.
Diet.
He should have said DC's. He should have said,
Right, exactly.
he said Diet Coke. I know what he meant.
And
Anyway.
Freddie T would be like, yeah.
So this was in the Boston Herald because I get Google alerts, which are firing in because we're big time right now. And Jim Murray has stated, for the record,
Mm-hmm.
while asked during the Felger and Maz after show, if he was interested in taking the rich chair, and he said no.
Interesting.
Doesn't want to get up in the morning.
I thought he would be interested.
He
in this.
says that he wasn't getting up in the morning, but he's done mornings before, and you would assume the opportunity would be so much for him that the last thing you'd want to do is take your name out of the running.
Break of a lifetime.
I hope it wasn't a matter of pride. I hope he doesn't think that he had no chance of getting it. And
Well, at
that's
the
why he
very
said it.
least, you could
he
use
hates
that.
seeing
Couldn't you
people
use
cut their
that-
wings.
Couldn't you use that to get a raise creatively?
Yeah.
I don't listen.
Yeah.
He's
I mean, that's
using-
the way I would think about
Yeah.
it.
You would think.
So you're
what I'm
savvy.
doing,
That's a good
right?
move.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing, Fred.
At the
would
very
think.
least, it would be like, I don't really want this, but I'm going to string them along for a little bit.
Sure.
And then, like, see what more I can get, maybe to negotiate something new.
Yeah.
So
Right?
if you're playing along at home, Jim Murray has quite and actually just it was quite rude. I mean, he didn't even reach out to me first. I'm kidding. I don't care. But if you're playing at home, Jim Murray off
Okay.
does not want the rich
Wow.
chair.
Crosses
so now
off the list.
We should
and
do
you-
like a big board in here or something.
because I
That's
never
actually a good idea.
I never thought someone would take their name out of the run.
Well, we had that, like, mountain climber thing up here. Maybe you could have, like,
Well, that-
the
that
different-
didn't
No.
The
That,
mountain-
that has a different
as
purpose.
soon
do
as-
like the
No, I know,
most
but we could
wanted,
repurpose it, I'm
right?
saying, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
have, like, the people climbing the mountain, and then you have, like, a big bag of cash at the top.
That's right, because it is a bag of cash. I'll tell you this: the mountain climber didn't work out well because then my throat went on me. So I don't want to ever see that mountain climber
Yeah,
again.
I know.
It got real not funny real quick when I wasn't getting paid for 5 weeks and sitting at home worrying and dealing with garbage. I didn't like that. All right, Bert. So who would have thought, John, this early in the game, 1 week, our first repeat guest.
We already have a
that's-
guy that's out of the running
what-
for the show.
that has taken himself out of the running.
That's all kinds of weird, Fred.
Now, he says he was not approached by management, but he said his agent had reached out to him.
We're looking at, what, like 6.5 weeks left, right?
Is that right? Is that what gets us to
I
January
just looked at
2nd?
my November 17th.
Our end date is December 6th, let's be honest. That's when the fall book ends. We go into holiday book, and this thing gets into cruise control quick.
Yeah.
We're talking
playing
about, we're
this.
already in crunch time then.
Yeah, this is a couple of weeks. I mean,
Couple
we,
weeks.
Oh, you
we
think
gotta
this?
solve
You think management comes? They're never here as it is, and you think they're coming in after Thanksgiving? Hoochie moochie. You guys, they're like wet cats. You got to stay on top of them, my
All right.
friend. They're running all over
So
the
it
place.
is crunch time then.
Yeah.
It's baby. I operate on crunch time.
Want a job?
Roach might just win a war of attrition if people keep pulling themselves out of it.
I'm not gonna like pull myself out of the running like Jim Murray.
See, that's a dumb thing to do. See, that's
I'm
very
in it for the
smart of
long
you,
haul.
Bert. Yeah, I might
I'm
be
gonna pull
interested.
myself out,
I might
right.
be interested in the job.
Eisen wants the job. That's the thing. It's his other affairs that he has on the Coward Show and Eisen. He does these other big time shows.
Yeah.
These national shows. Even though I don't know how to, I like Rich Eisen. I don't mind him at all, but I don't know how you could listen to it. I honestly don't. But I know how you listen to Colin Cowherd. You get in my mom's car.